Imagine this. Throughout history, great wars have started over land, over crowns, over religion, over wealth, empire, and power. But in 1859, the United States and Britain almost went to war over a pig. Yes, a pig. It happened in the Pacific Northwest, on San Juan Island. At the time, the island sat in the middle of a dangerous territorial dispute between the United States and Britain. On paper, the border had been drawn, but in reality, no one was completely sure which country the island truly belonged to. Americans were living there, British settlers were there too, and both sides believed the land was theirs. For years, the tension stayed quiet. No battles, no gunfire, just suspicion, pride, and an island. Both nations refused to give up. Then one day, everything changed because of something almost ridiculous. An American farmer named Lyman Cutlar had planted potatoes on his land, but a pig kept wandering into his field, digging through the soil, eating his potatoes, and pushing his patience further each time. The pig belonged to an Irishman connected to a British company. At first, it was just an annoyance. Then, it became a dispute. And finally, Cutlar had enough. He shot the pig. In that moment, it seemed like a simple argument between two neighbors, but very quickly, this small act turned into something much bigger. The British demanded compensation. Cutlar argued that he had only been protecting his property. The argument grew sharper. The accusations became louder, and suddenly, the question was no longer about a dead pig. It was about the island itself. Who owned San Juan? The United States or the British Empire? The Americans sent soldiers to the island. The British refused to back down. Warships appeared offshore. Troops were placed into position. Cannons were prepared, and both sides waited, watching closely for the other side to make the first move. One pig had been shot, and now two powerful nations were standing on the edge of war. But the strangest part is this: in the entire confrontation, the only living creature that died was the pig. No soldiers were killed. No major battle took place. No army charged across the island. But the danger was very real, because wars do not always begin with grand speeches or great causes. Sometimes they begin with a small mistake, a misunderstanding, a confusing border, a wounded sense of pride, and leaders who are afraid to step back first. That was the danger on San Juan Island. Neither side wanted to lower its flag. Neither side wanted to look weak, and both sides understood that one small incident had become a major political crisis. But this time, history took a different path. The United States and Britain did not go to full war. Instead, both sides slowly tried to calm the situation. American forces stayed on the island. British forces stayed too. And for years, San Juan Island became one of the strangest places in the world. One island, two military camps, two flags, two claims, and no open war. Eventually, the dispute was settled. Through international arbitration, San Juan Island was awarded to the United States. British forces withdrew, and one of the strangest border crises in history finally came to an end. The Pig War. It had the name of a war, but there was no great battle. No battlefield full of soldiers, no long campaign. Only one pig had died, but hundreds of lives could have been thrown into danger. Because history teaches us something important. Wars do not always begin with big reasons. Sometimes they begin with a tiny spark, and in 1859, that spark was a pig. The Pig War, one of the strangest conflicts in history. A war where the only victim was the very animal that caused it.